This is the BlackBerry Bold 9000 for AT&T. It's manufactured by Research in Motion, and it's going to be available in a day or two on AT&T's network. You can see the Bold has a typical BlackBerry form factor. It's a full QWERTY keyboard, signature trackball, very good looking device, faux leather back, brushed aluminum looking metal frame around it, and a very large half VGA display. It's really a beautiful display. We'll take a look at some of the hardware features on the Bold. Start off with a 3.5mm audio headset jack, a mini USB charger and data port, a user configurable soft key which brings up the application manager by default, and there's the micro SD card slot, which is a very nice hinged card. It's a metal door, it's quite attractive. On the bottom we have the latch for the rear cover. The rear cover itself is made up of a faux leather material. On the right edge we have another soft key which by default brings up the camera, volume control here, mute button up top which can be used to put the phone into standby mode as well. Overall, very solid design, no creaks anywhere, everything fits to really tight tolerances. Since the Bold itself is a little bit wider and longer than the BlackBerry Curve models that are on the market, its keyboard is a little bit bigger as well. This is more in line with the keyboard found on the 8000 series devices like the 8800. The keys are fairly large, fairly stiff, but they have a really nice feel to them. I feel instantly at home on this keyboard. Green and red call, send, and end buttons, dedicated menu button, dedicated back button. All very typical for BlackBerry. Here's a closer look at the camera on the back of the Bold. It's a 2-megapixel fixed focus camera with an LED assist light. Nothing particularly special, but appears to take relatively nice photos, and they look pretty good on the half VGA display. If you'll notice in the upper right hand corner of the phone, there's a blinking red LED light. That's telling us that we have a message. Now right now the phone is in standby mode, so if you try to power it up, you get a message telling it's in standby mode and the phone remains locked. To unlock it, you hold down the mute button for a couple seconds. And now we have full access to the device. You can see in the default theme, trackball moves across between a couple of different shortcuts automatically put down at the base of the phone. This is a combined messaging folder where SMS and email as well come into. To its side, right here, is a account set up just for this one particular BlackBerry device. Pull this up and you can see the inbox for that account. Right now I have a 7-point font set, so you can see the text is pretty small. But if I go into the settings, so right here, change the font size to a larger font, you can see there's a fair bit of control on it. We'll go back into that same message, and you can see everything's much larger now. So basically, depending on how good your eyes are and how much information you want to put on the screen, you have all sorts of options. You can change the font type, you can make it bold, italic, whatever you want. We'll go into the main menu of the device by hitting the BlackBerry menu button here. You can see there's an awful lot of options, even though there's folders and each folder has an appropriate icon for it, like this is setup, this is settings. Still a lot of things to scroll through. Fortunately, you can take any particular item and hide it, at which point it disappears. You can always get back to your hidden things just by doing show all temporarily. You can see our hidden icon is back. And then when you're done, you just put it back to the normal mode. It's a good way to clean up things. You can also move things into different folders and everything. One of the great things about BlackBerry devices in general is how many keyboard shortcuts there are. Right now we're in the email messaging inbox. If I just move the selector to a current message and hit the R button down here, it will automatically reply to it. Another great thing, you saw that I just typed this as a reply. On a BlackBerry device, if you hit the spacebar twice, it will automatically turn one of those spaces into a period. It does a lot of other autocorrections, like if I'd go D, O, N, T, and then hit the space, you'll see it's automatically transformed into don't with the appropriate apostrophe. Send that message off. You see we just received a new message, and the message contains an Excel spreadsheet. You see we had the option to just view it or to edit it with the Documents to Go, which is included on the device. This is just a spreadsheet of talk time tests that we run at the site. Take a look at the profile system on the Bold. You can see that there are an infinite, almost, number of options for each profile. I mean, you can set specific Google Talk alerts for a specific profile. You know, you can do the same thing with email addresses, or email accounts, calendar, everything like that. It's really a bit overwhelming when you want to configure things. Even if you just look at phone, there's still an awful lot of options for the phone in any given profile. Very powerful, but a little bit overwhelming.